So, all right. Who, apart from you practicing and honing your craft,
Yeah.
are there any guitarists that you look to, or as
Yes.
your influence or your
Yeah.
example?
Right. But one of my favorite guitarists is Al Anderson, who's one of Bob Marley's lead guitarists. I mean, everybody knows about Gina Martin,
Mm,
right? But Al Anderson was a level, at a different league,
yeah,
right? Yeah, he was in some of the big solos we hear on the live albums, like Babylon by Bus, is Al Anderson. The solo on No Woman No Cry,
mm,
they recorded the popular version everybody knows, which was recorded at the Lyceum,
yeah.
live at the Lyceum. That solo is Al Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a definitely a good influence of mine. Taking it out of the reggae, but George Benson, you know.
Okay.
Nile Rodgers is a great influence on mine as well, because
Mm-hmm.
even though he was a good lead guitarist and great jazz guitarist,
Mm-hmm.
he was known for rhythm playing. So, for example, the big Sister Sledge, "Thinking of You," that rhythm,
Yes.
yeah,
Mm.
he led tunes out front as like a lead vocal, like rhythm. Most songs you hear, if the guitar is leading, it's normally a lead guitar
Yeah.
and lead into lead melodies, right? Even like my album, lead melody is at the front, but you don't really hear the rhythm guitar at the front, right? Nile Rodgers played the rhythm guitar at the front, and this is part of the main makeup of the tune in the feature. So when you listen to "Thinking of You," even the solo in the middle, the actual intro is all guitar, it's rhythm, it's all rhythm. So in terms from a rhythm perspective, like I like to listen to Nile Rodgers. Another guitarist called Paul Jackson.
Right.
So like a nice rhythm and flavor. But in terms of lead, I listen to like George Benson, B.B. King, also.
Okay. Yes.
Um,
King.
and Wes Montgomery
Mm-hmm.
and the others, right? But B.B. King, because B.B. King never played so many notes. Not like he obviously a blues guitarist.
Yeah.
But if you listen to George Benson would play very smoothly, and when he do a lot of quick runs, right?
Yeah.
A lot of B.B. King didn't play it as fast, and he made the guitar talk and cry in a certain way. He made you feel from his belly button.
Yeah.
So in terms of feel, and I listen to B.B. King, as well.
Do you watch? You study their technique and things like that, or do you just listen?
I listen. I take on some of their technique, yes, because what I learned from B.B. King is when I was just starting to learn to improvise.
Yeah.
I tried to do everything fast, and I thought the quicker you can play, the more impressive it looks.
Yeah.
But that's not so. With B.B. King would bend the note. You know what I mean, and it would emphasize like a singer would bend the note. And what he played, it was as efficient and as important and as dynamic as someone who was playing plenty of notes, and it had even more so. And he used a few scales as opposed to other guitarists who use several scales. He used a few, chromatic, blues, diatonic, and he didn't use too many scales.
Yeah.
But what he did, he made the guitar talk. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I didn't use B.B. King was that guitarist. Actually, it looked in my early years. I used to listen to George Benson and Philip Church and other guitarists like that, And then I started to, in my older years, I started to listen to B.B. King and Eric Clapton.
Yeah. Okay. So various influences. Yeah, various influences. Is there anything that you feel that you have left to do guitar-wise? Because you've done a lot over the years. I mean, you said that, I think it was 1992 that you started to really do some serious guitar playing. And my son was born 1991, and he's heading to 30 now. So you've been playing a long time.
Yeah, I've been playing a long time, but there's still, there's still improvements. You never really reach a stage where you're happy to sing, I'm there now kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? There's more I can always learn.
Yeah.
Never stop learning. I can, even though I'm at a level where I'm recognized to a certain degree.
Yeah.
There's lots more I can learn and get better at.
Yes.
Be more accomplished. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's good. That's good to know. That's good, because I still feel sometimes we think because we're a certain age that, we must slow down. We don't have to. I think there's still things you can do, and I think every day is a learning experience. That's my personal view. So So tell me about Cool Reggae. How did that idea come about? Because you've got some really good music on there.
You mean the Cool Reggae album?
The album, yep.
Yeah. That came about, I've been working for Stingray for years. I've played a lot of sessions for Stingray. And I never really thought about doing an album. I thought about doing an album with other people. You understand? To being part of the arranger and producer. And so that was what I first was thinking to do, to be a collab of something, or working on a project with somebody where when artists and me and them work together, we produce an album. I didn't really think of doing an album as an instrumental for myself.
Yeah.
And I have to give a big up Vincent Knapp again, because he recognized the fact that I have a good body of work.
Yeah.
This person, and done all the stage shows and toured all over the place. But you need to have something for yourself.
Yes.
Because you need to have something for yourself. The other people have done that, and when you pass and go, at least you know that there's something there that I've done this, right? Because a lot of people there's quite a few accomplished musicians who have played and toured around the world and done more work than I have. And their name is known, but then there isn't anything you can pick up in the shop and say, that's them.
Yeah.
And the reason I've encouraged me and say, look, you need to do something for yourself. And it registered with me. And one day I approached Diddy in Stingray and I said, I'd like to do an instrumental album. And he goes, I'd like to do, that's a good idea, because he's never done vocals.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so I said, that's something different and something I'd like to be involved in. So that's how that album came about. So me working with Diddy and working with Stingray and choosing to work on.
I think it's a great idea, until it's just, you can just imagine yourself playing it in the background, driving, there's so much you could use with, even, I was even thinking film tracks, anything,
restaurants,
hotels, I think it's it's a very good move. And I think there's still a lot of life left in it. I don't think it's going to fade away anytime soon.
No, as I said, this lockdown period and stuff like that has restricted a lot. So it's restricted how much we can do. Normally we'd have an album launch with a full band and all that. So in terms of how we would be able to push the album, we have to rely on social media at the moment. And getting out there physically is not possible like it was. Right? But I'm sure that time will come back.
Yeah.
And one thing with the albums seem to always have longevity.
Yes. Yes.
Right. Yeah. For example, we're still listening to Bob Marley's music now, and he's been dead for long
time. Right? Yeah. So,
the unique thing about that album, which I must say, is that 90% of the album I was on unrehearsed.
Yeah. Unrehearsed.
Yeah.
Okay.
90% of the album. Only 3 tracks on the album did I rehearse the lines. Some of them were tracks I had played on before, the vocals I previously put on. Right, and they would bring back a track, and they said, "Yeah, I think it's a good track for the album." Because by this time, because they were stuff that was previously worked, and I didn't have to bring in people to build the rhythm. Bill, I had played guitar on them before. Some of them had been vocalized, some of them hadn't, and and we would sift through tracks which I have over time I'd worked on, and so it sounded like a good track. Then he would like say, we just run it, and then tell me to play, which way what I feel, and I would play live to what was going on, as opposed to taking track home and listening to it and creating something. So most of the album was created like that. Most of the album was created like on the spot, head top, straight from the head.
Yeah. So it's like you were ad-libbing musically and with musical instrument. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Most of the album was done like that. Normally you'd have a project and you write, just like you write what you're gonna play. You kind of take home and you work on it and you put it together and you perfect it. But this didn't happen like that. This happened, most of it was inspirational. It was just, we played the tune, run it back, and most of it I'd play straight from top to bottom, and then we listen it back, and then I might fix something there and then, and overdub certain there and then. What on Concrete Jungle Vibration on the album, that was built in my home. That track was up here. I did that here, sitting on the same sofa.
Okay.
I put the ideas together and I constructed the whole thing and the lead lines. And then after I constructed it, then I got other musicians to replay over certain things like the bass and the keyboards and the drum program. But originally, that was on there. There's the next track on there. It's a Wading Souls tune and it's called Leaving.
Yes, it's one of my favorites. Yeah.
I did the lead guitar here as well, sitting on the sofa. And Impossible, Dennis Brown cover, I did the lead guitar here as well. You know? Yeah, but the rest of the tracks were all done in Stingray.
Stingray Studio.
Yeah. I mean, the other two rhythms were done in Stingray, but the lead Concrete Jungle was done here. And other two tracks I mentioned, the rhythm tracks were built in the studio in Stingray, but then the lead guitar parts I did here at home.
Okay. So right now, I should ask you, which one is your favorite? Have you got a favorite on the album?
That's hard. I mean, I do like, one of my favorites, there's a few favorites, quite honest. I mean, I do like Concrete Jungle, right? Because that's the one tune I always wanted to do live. I mean, I was inspired by Al Anderson's live take on that. I mean, this track I like from the album, from Catch a Fire album. So it's a track I always like. I like the arrangement, but then, and I like the guitar solo on the original. But then the live version on Babylon by Boss, Al Anderson takes a solo on that, and it's mind-blowing. So I've always wanted to be able to do my own version of that. So that's one of the tunes I'm kind of probably most proud of. But one of the, I think, the other two tunes which I kind of highlight is Rain and Night in Georgia. Right?
That's a nice one.
Make It Easy.
Make It Easy. Yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, Make It Easy is that I think that's probably the most jazziest in terms of style of play. Right? And Rain and Night, again, Rain and Night was a tune where we was only building the rhythm for somebody else to sing.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't something I decided to do for the album. It was you know, I was brought into the guitar parts. I had already done the guitar parts to embellish the tracks, sort of parts of guitar on the track already. Listening back, and again, and said, this sounds like a tune for the album.
Yeah.
So you run it back from the top and just told me to play. And I played the melody out of my head. I was trying to base it on the Randy Crawford.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't had anything to listen to at the time when I was recording that. So right again, the fact that the melody was played back where people recognize it, to me I was quite impressed that I was able to reproduce so much of that out of my head.
Yeah.
Right? And as I said, it was played from the top to bottom.
Because you
12 times.
You could almost imagine someone singing the actual, because it was so the playing was so distinct, especially with the verses, that you could actually follow it along. It was very impressive, very impressive. Yeah, I like that.
Those two tracks I do like. There's a couple other tracks which were influenced from me being in Jamaica, and that's Jamaica Sunset and Calm Waters. Those two tracks were directly influenced from my experience in Jamaica.
You know? It's nice, very nice. I was going to ask you, what is your creative process? You know, from the time when you know that you've got to go and play on the stage, to going right back to, when you know you've got to go and play on the stage, you get the news, Ivan, we want you to go, we want you to play with us on the stage. These are the songs that you're going to be playing and so on. What is your creative process? How do you prepare?
Well, once I get all the material, right, then it's basically listening, and learning the songs and the arrangements, and basically getting the keys for each song. Right, so I would not just the keys. If there's guitar parts or lead parts, I'd have to learn them individually. So what I normally do, I normally burn the tracks onto a CD.
Right.
And I'll put this track into the CD player, and I'll sit down with my guitar and I'll study each track individually, and I'll write down the chord progressions for those tracks. So that's what once I write the chord progressions for those tracks, and I have a better idea of what's going on. So when I go to rehearsal, I know what key the tunes are in. And so I don't normally go to rehearsal guessing what to do. I normally do the homework at home. So I put the tunes, burn the tunes on a CD, and I'd analyze each tune individually, and get myself ready, and write the chords and the keys for each tune.
Wow.
That's what I normally do to prepare for a show.
So how long does that take you before the show?
It depends on the track. It depends on the track. And sometimes over time you would play with a number of artists. So some of the rhythms might be stuff and you just listen in the back, and it might be in a different key. Just listening. And you just press probably right on the key. There's no other one, and this one. There's other times where you're playing stuff that you've never heard before. And the arrangement is complex. And when it's on something like that, now you have to take the time and study the tune, and that one tune can take you all day sometimes.
Wow.
You can learn a set in a day, 20, 30 tunes in a day, depending on the tunes, and you can take the same amount of time to learn one, depending on this arrangement. Because the intricacy is what's in there. If there's a chord arrangements and intricacies and lead lines and other embellishments, and other undertones, there's lots going on. Sometimes you have to listen hard and rewind it, and then listen to get the arrangement. And sometimes you can spend a good few hours or so on one tune. And other times you can get a set list and you that set list, breeze through that one. So it all depends on what you're on. Yeah, it all depends.
And you see, and so for me looking on, all I see is you coming on the stage with your guitar. We don't know the preparation it takes for you to be at that stage. You know, that's impressive. It takes a lot of listening and time. And set yourself. Just lock off everything else. That's this is what I'm gonna do now, and that's what you do. And part of the preparation is the rehearsal. Right? One of the main things, and is very important in rehearsals, is to record the rehearsal. Yeah.
Then you can then go home and work on what's being recorded and hear any parts what's wrong, you correct them.
Yeah.
It's also a good tool for remembrance. Right? So back in the day, when I was first playing, I never used to record anything. I used to go to rehearsal and do the rehearsal and then do the show and do the memory. But as time goes on, we get older anyway. But the work gets bigger. So you can no longer just do the rehearsal and do the show.
Yeah.
Sometimes that still happens, but you know, for example, when doing the Giants of Lovers Rock at Indigo O2.
Yeah.
You're rehearsing about between 30 and 50 tunes.
I know. I don't know how you lot do that. How do you do that?
And so you can't just go to the rehearsal and rehearse and don't record anything. I need that level of you're basically about 30 artists on a day, with about 50 tunes you're performing. And so to not record it, you have to now bring the recorder into the rehearsal.
Yeah.
So you can retain everything that you've done in the rehearsal and then come home and study it and rehearse at home to get it done on the night. Sorry.
How long does it take you to be prepared for something like that? That's massive.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants of Lovers Rock, it normally takes to get a Dropbox of the tunes. And so you analyze them from there.
Yeah.
You taking time to kind of analyze them and do all the keys. Like I said, it's a couple of hours. You sit down and listen to the tunes and arrangements, and you write down all the keys and the arrangements. And then the rehearsals are normally like going to work. For Giants, it's normally a day rehearsal, like 2 or 3 days, going from the morning until the evening. So we do like 2 or 3 days full rehearsals for the acts.
Yeah.
And so it's like sometimes you take time off of work too, so you can do the rehearsals.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I not that amount. 1 or 2 tune, yes, but 30 to 50. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, I remember one time I was doing a show with what's his name? It was in Brixton. And we was Michael Prophet was one of the artists as well.
Yeah.
Leonard Duden, the Ethiopians.
Okay.
Right, in Brixton Town Hall. And we went on stage. I remember going on stage. It was quite a few artists we had to back. I can't remember all of them. But this is not Giants. This is something totally different. This is a root show with Ethiopians. And Michael Prophet was definitely one of the artists amongst other artists. And we went on stage at like 12 midnight, and I remember coming on stage at 5 a.m. in the morning.
And you didn't know breaks?
No break.
Wow. How do you do that? And because usually you're standing, aren't you? You're always, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's No, I don't know if I could do that. No.
A lot of people can't.
No,
You know?
that takes a lot of discipline. Takes a lot of discipline. Yeah. So I've got two more questions to ask you. The first one is, I suppose your view. What is your view of reggae today? You can say UK, or you can say worldwide, or as a whole. How do you see reggae? How it has evolved over the years?
It's changed quite a bit now. You know, I mean, it's still a very integral part of our culture.
Yeah.
Right? But today's reggae is, I mean, there's lots of spin-offs of reggae nowadays. You know? But the reggae what's being made now is quicker. It's in tempo is faster.
Yeah.
And the bass lines seem to be simpler. You know what I mean? Yeah. Back in the 70s, when said the Renaissance period of reggae, you had a lot of creative bass lines, which forced you to move. Like the bass lines on Bob Marley's albums and Dennis Brown. Some of those bass lines, when you hear the bass line, you know the tune.
Yeah.
You know, they were so distinctive.
Yes.
Wolf and Leopard, alternates breaking up, you know. And you don't even, if you can't even hear the lyric, if you're even driving, and back in the days when people used to go house parties.
Yeah.
Right. Recognize that tune's being played by the bass line.
Yeah.
You know? So there was a lot more creative bass lines back in, you know, the early, like in the 70s and early 80s. Nowadays, you don't have the bass lines are not as creative. The music is still good, but bass lines are not necessarily as creative, and the tempos are not as varied. The tempos back in the day, there was varied and they had more styles. Because you had the one drop, which is the traditional reggae, right? Right?
Yeah.
And you had what they call radix, which is a different style of the drum pattern is what changed, right? The beat on the snare stayed the same place. But the foot drum would lead with the one drop, right? There's no lead on the foot drum. And then you had steppers, which is also known as rockers. You know what I mean? Where the bass drum would be marching. A lot of the reggae which made now it's all the same tempo. It's mostly one drop and it's all the same tempo. Yeah. You don't have that variation, in my opinion. You don't have that variation in tempo. I mean, the only kind of tunes I've heard recently, in the recent couple of years, right, which has that sort of feel and vibe, is Chronics.
Okay.
Right. With this tune, Reggae Music Suite, that tune.
Yeah.
Right. That has a bass line, but it it harkens back to the music from back in the day. It's a radical feel, but it harkens back to the tune back in the day, because it's got a nice. When you hear that bass line, you feel that tune, and the tempo is not as fast as some of the other tunes, which is you know, like your it's not as quick as some of the artists were performing now. You know, and it has that groove. And that's why you're never get tired of listening to it. You know? Yeah. Well, so that's what I feel. The tempos are slightly different, now, and the bass lines are not as creative. And there's less singers now what sing reggae, in terms of there's more sing J's and DJs, right? You have a lot of people who kind of DJ and sing at the same time. But you don't have the crop of singers like you did when you had Dennis Brown, Greg Dyke, Bob Marley, Slim Smith, you go on John Holt. You know what I mean?
I understand.
Singers, people who sing. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, I mean, you got the next generation coming up, because that's what happens in life. Is there anybody that you would highlight as one to watch? Or two to watch? Or three to watch?
I mean, Charlotte Roden's going on with good things at the moment.
Yes, yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so her album is interesting. And there's a couple of others, but at the moment, in terms of like reggae has been, in terms of quality, I think right now who's standing out is, she's also from the Stinger camps. Charlotte Roden is going on quite good right now. And I'm trying. I probably, if you ask me this question 10 minutes later, after, I probably could have found a couple more names.
Yeah, no? I understand. Yeah, but I think the reason why I like albums, it takes you time. You know, you hear a single and then it goes, but with an album, you can say, all right, you know, you can see where the person's going, the direction, their vocal range, the whole, you know, you get a more, what's the word, fuller picture of the artist and what they're capable of. And but with a single, you've only got that one single. So I think albums, you know, I think I prefer albums, you know. Singles are good, but you know, I think every artist should, you know, either do an EP or an album. That's what I think.
Yeah, it is. There's
aim for it.
There's, with an album, there's choice to listen to.
Yes.
You can choose and refuse.
Yeah.
You know, and there's tracks you may like and there's tracks you might not like, but at least you have the variety of something.
Right. That's
on
right.
The album
Yeah.
You know.
So my final question is, what is a legacy that you'd like to leave? What would you like them to say? You alluded to it before, but what is a legacy? What would you like to say them to say about Ivan Christie?
I like them to say that, you know, he was a good musician, great musician, and he did his best while he was here. He walked good, and he was, you know, he walked good and he lived good. Yeah. Okay. And he was a positive and optimistic person. Yeah. We need to be optimistic, definitely. Yeah. So where can your fans find you, or those listening to your music? Where can they find you on social media? They can find me on Facebook. You just type in Ivan Christie. You'll find me on Facebook. You find me on Instagram. Ivan.Christie.50. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You can also find me on LinkedIn. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, those are the places you can definitely and also Naturalist Music. Yeah, Naturalist Music also. yeah. And my website, it's Naturalist Music. You can find me there too. Okay, lovely. My bio, my history, and what I've done is all on naturalistmusic.com. Okay, so the $64 million question now before you leave, is there anything in the pipeline that you can give us an exclusive, or is it we're gonna see how the album keeps going? I'm not seeing how the album keeps going. I think we're gonna wait till the new year before we start in new material. Yeah. But there is stuff there we can put our hands on, because there's 12 tracks on the album, but there was more than 12 tracks to choose from. So there's more there. There's more there. Okay. And so hopefully in the new year we can start looking at probably producing a new album. Yeah. Well, Ivan, I learned a lot about you, more than I thought I knew. So that was nice. And I hope that, your viewers and your fans have learned some more about you. And I look forward to see what happens with the album. Because as I said, I think there's so many different avenues that album could take. Yeah. So I think, we're gonna see some more from it, even into the new year. I wouldn't be surprised. No. I mean, so. Yeah. You never know, you might, into the new year, especially when things start to kind of ease up and the vibes of people becoming light, and you never know. You never know. Yeah. And because it is an instrumental, it has that. There's nobody kind attaching lyrics, because I mean, when we listen to lyrics, they either have something happy or heartache or whatever. That's right. You either something you can either latch onto lyrically or not. And sometimes not everything you listen to is going to appeal to your ears vocally. So when something the advantage of an instrumental is that there's no kind of vocal influence to move you that way. It's just the music alone.
That's it. And you use your imagination, you know.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed the interview. As I said, I like learning, and I hope, you know, that the viewers will enjoy it as much as I did. And I'm sure this is not going to be the last interview anyway, because you're going to do some more works. So if until then, have a nice Christmas. They'd said there's only 5 Mondays to Christmas. Imagine already. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the year has flown by, you know. It
really has. But, you know, we thank God for being here.
Yes, you know, as you say, you know, onwards and upwards.
Well, Ivan, it's been lovely, and goodbye.
It's been a pleasure.
Okay, take care.
Very well.
Bye.